it's just, I mean, that no matter what it is that has first strike in his deck here, it's going to have 6 power.
Absolutely, and it needs to be blocked by 2 guys. He's getting a big trade there every time.
Yeah, so
that is
an
the
early
sprite
here.
1/2, and I believe you can play blue and 1 to turn it around.
Just blue.
Just blue to flip it around. Leland informs me.
Yep. And you can pay 2 blue to kill it. Curiously enough.
Kill my own sprite. That's the Skin Brand Goblin 2/1 Blood Rush.
So
Seen a lot of him today.
a couple of 2/1s around.
Yeah.
It does look as though.
Zach's gonna flap over with his little sprite there.
Yeah, and Zach has a Demir Charm as well, so it's just going to be a poke for 1 here. He's going to drop Hank down to 19. Look to keep his mana open.
And he's gonna Demir Charm.
He's gonna kill his creature.
Is he killing the creature? Is he gonna Fate Seal Hank a little bit, or in response, Hank is gonna pump his guy, give him,
Martial Glory.
turn him into a 5/4, which
Ooh.
will go around Demir Charm.
Yeah, it sure will. And also crunch for 5. A little important.
And Hank
So,
missed
yes.
a land drop there though, and
So,
his Sky Knight Legionnaires are at 3, so he needs to get to that 3 at least.
Looks like he has a home burner in hand.
unfortunately, that's the side of the table that gets blurry, so we're not going to be able to do much to help understand what's in Hank's hand. We will provide insight when we can glean any, but looks like
Zach says no attack go. He also missed land, so both players are hoping for land drops. This is going to be a super exciting game here.
it's going to suit Zach. It's going to suit Hank a little better, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think Hank's deck's a little bit more aggressive. I think Zach wants to get that 4 and 5 mana.
So for any Boros players at home, I think it was a mistake to serve with that Goblin.
Yeah,
I don't think you want to be making trades when you're not yet at a battalion trigger.
absolutely.
And, looks like a halberdier in his hand to me for Hank, and I would have much rather not attack,
Seen the
stuck
third,
that on the
exactly,
board.
Exactly. You can take 1/1/1/1/1. Once you start hitting with 3/2s every turn, you shut your opponent's board down pretty hard.
So that is,
Is that the?
I'm guessing Keymaster Rogue.
Is that Simic Flux Mage? Maybe. He can't play Keymaster Rogue because he'd have to bring a guy back to his hand.
He doesn't
Okay,
have-
so that would have returned itself back
Yeah.
to his hand.
That's
So,
cost 4 too.
well, it could be Simic Flux Mage or Simic Manipulator here. Let's check it out.
Flux Mage.
I think it's
Manipulator's
Flux
double blue.
Mage, and I think Hank counters with what is that? A Court Street Denizen?
It is Flux Mage.
Yep, and that is a
Double
Court
blue.
Street Denizen for Hank. Probably the best creature in his deck,
Yeah,
despite how we were talking about
absolutely,
the Sky Knight
absolutely.
Legionnaires. Well, there's,
Little +1/+1 counter for the Simic Flux Mage.
and that was definitely our,
That's the Rogue.
our Death Cult Rogue, I believe his
Death
name
Cult
is.
Rogue, and it triggers the Flux Mage. Time to start bouncing counters around.
Oh, make sure you guys mention the modern PPQ every once in a while, too.
We're going to have you on to talk about stuff hopefully later anyways.
All right, now Hank's got 3. He's going to tap down the Flux Mage. He's going to attack with a Denizen and the Halberdier. Or is that's Sky Knight Legionnaire. Sky Knight Legionnaire, not the Wojcik Halberdiers. And it looks like Zach just takes 4.
And the Flex Mage is currently sitting at 2/3 for its power and toughness. And
That card's good.
is that the Hand of Binding?
Hands of Binding is going to keep Legionnaire tapped down. And it's really good on that rogue because I don't think Hank has any rogues.
Probably not.
And he's going to keep the Denizen tapped down as well.
Drew Madcap skills.
Hank draws Madcap Skills right off the top like he asked for it.
Put it on the Thrall, though.
Puts it on the Thrall and swings for 4.
I don't like him putting it on the
I don't like
Thrall.
it on the Thrall either, but I think he wants to make sure he gets damage in this turn, maybe.
I'd still, like, even though it's not a valuable blocker right now, I would,
Boros charm for game 2.
I mean, I guess what he's trying to do here is point out that if he's facing a removal spell, he's going to have to kill his worst creature in order to get rid of the Madcap skills. So I could definitely see the thought here. Personally, I might just throw it on the Sky Knight Legionnaire, but
There's horror tokens out.
yep. So that's the horror token.
Call of the Nightwing. This guy's going to become a pretty big game right here.
Get a
This
life
rogue.
total update. And
So-
some attacks here, bound to change some life totals. I know
Yeah.
I lost track of it a little bit, so
There's going to be 2 less for Hank, and we're going to have double horror in play because of double trigger, and
Do you have life
one of
totals?
those guys is going to be locked down.
all right. And Leland's back joining us to get the life totals updated for us.
Zach's tapped out. He's going to keep the Thrall with the Madcap skills locked down this turn. Hank plays another Knight. White trigger on one of the horrors. And Hank says combat comes in with 2/2/2 flying haste. Zach has 1 horror blocker back. Say that 3 times fast. Horror blocker. He's going to chump with a horror and looks like take 2.
Yeah, drops him down to 5.
Hank says go for it.
Is Hank actually at 15?
He's only taken a couple shots there. So.
Yeah, I guess that is just a 2/2. It's so threatening with all those encodes on it.
Exactly.
It makes you think it's bigger, but
Yep. Hank's wishing he had some of Aubrey's fight spells right now, I'm sure.
Aubrey took them all from
Yeah, exactly.
Odd.
Exactly. Between Aubrey and Jason from our first match, a lot of the cards that Hank was looking for ended up in their decks.
it's not a Lord of the Void in Zach's hand. No, he doesn't have one. Got the deck list right here. All right. I'm trying to figure out what exactly he's got in his hand
He
there.
keeps flipping them so fast I can't make out what he's playing with there.
That's the blue primordial, it looks like.
It does look like that looks like a Diluvian Primordial on top. Diluvian Primordial?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he's going to tag Hank. He's going to make an extra horror token. He's going to tap down one of the Legionnaires and keep it there.
Diluvian Primordial probably wouldn't do any better than to cast a Martial Glory for
Yeah.
the
Yep.
the good team, the good guys. At least if you're rooting for Zach here.
It looks like Zach's going to jam another dude onto his board. That's the
The Gate Shade.
Gateway
I believe,
Shade,
yeah.
Gate Shade, something Shade with the gate.
Gateway, yeah. So it's a 1/1 for 3 for 1 black mana. Gets +1/+1. Tap an untapped gate you control. Gets +2/+2. Card I think is going to be very good in once the Dragon Maze gets involved, and you'll have guild gates in all 3 of the sets, and you'll be able to play a wall deck essentially,
Yeah,
the Gate
yeah.
Creeper Vines and everything like that. And I think that card will
And
do a lot of good there.
Rosewater has said multiple times, I don't know, in his MTGO articles that they want to make gates matter for the
Yeah.
3rd set. So I'm wondering what the Dragon's Maze is going to be. I think Dragon's Maze, they said there's going to be a legendary land. It has to be Dragon's Maze. Mythic, legendary something land. And it's got to be the Dragon's Maze, I think. And I wonder if it's not going to make all gates come into play untapped or something like that. To make it really good to play gates then.
Yeah. So it looks like this block here would.
It's going to chump block. Zach could pump the...
I was going to
The
say,
shade.
it puts him in range of Boros Charm here.
Right.
Now, Zach doesn't know that he doesn't have Boros Charm
Right,
in his pool.
right.
But he's got it. You've got to be scared of
You
it.
got to be thinking Boros Charm when you're looking across the table. What's Hank got? Is it Martial Glory? I mean, he could put... I don't know what Hank's doing here. I think if he
Plus
just
3 on the
puts
Legionnaire
3 on the
would
unblocked
gain, right?
Legionnaire, he just wins.
Well,
I think he's
Not a
trying to save his...
But he could do both.
That's what I mean. He could put 3 on the back end of his thing and still put 3 plus 3 on the front end. Well, there's a
Just pitch that.
there's a little misplay from Hank. He's gonna bump Zach down to 3 life. He could have put the +3 on the Sky Knight and just taken the game.
Rules are correct.
Looks like Zach's saying, "What's in your
give me that
graveyard?"
graveyard.
Looked like he was about to scoop, and then he said, "Hank, let me see your graveyard." So
Just about guarantees that is a Diluvian
he's-
Primordial there.
Yeah, or he's got the XX spell. Gives your guy -X enchantment. Right? All right. Well, our life totals were wrong, so I guess Hank's play makes a little more sense there.
Well, we'll get that updated here. And I'm not even sure how to begin saying your name, Shmnion. feel free to help me with a way to do that. We'll definitely look into the resolution here on the XSplit broadcast and the camera as well. We'll try to make sure we get them matched up because whatever they are, they should, I'm sure, be the same. So it could even be
Simic
dropping the
manipulator.
resolution helps and being what we need. So there's
There he is.
Yep, there's the Simic manipulator. Going to get you some exact wording here. It has evolve. It's a 0/1 for 3 colorless and 2 blue. Remove 1 or more 1/1 counters from Simic manipulator and tap him to gain control of target creature with power less than or equal to the number of 1/1 counters removed this way. So
Steal your best creature.
well, the best creature you can
The best
afford
creature
to
I can
with
afford to
evolve
steal.
triggers,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And
It's like
unlike
just
a lot of
jump
those,
block.
unlike a lot of those similar effects, the manipulator doesn't stay tapped and lets you continue to use it.
Right.
So,
Hank plays a steady stream of flyers. He's going to continue to threaten Zach's board here.
Zach didn't take any damage, right?
you know what I might have to do?
Zach's just chipping away at Hank over and over and over again.
I might have to play Simic manipulator on something with increasing devotion,
I would love to see that happen.
so that way I could just put 5 1/1s
5
into
tokens
play
into
and
play.
add 5 counters since they're
Yeah.
all simultaneous
Yeah.
triggers. That seems like something I'm going to need
And
to
if
do.
you're in real bad shape and you play Simic Manipulator and you flashback that increasing devotion at the end of the game, you can just take anything they have.
I'm not sure if we know what the Mythic Land is going to be yet. I haven't seen anything on it. Feel free to send a link if you you come up with anything here to provide us some insight. We'd be glad to talk about it, and we will certainly be looking into the Gatherer pop-up. Find a way to just kind of overlay.
There's
it
the
should be
Key
possible.
Master rune, or the Rogue, the Key Master Rogue.
So bounces a guy back to his hand. Now he can go ahead and recast it. Try to get an extra evolve trigger here.
Yep.
Right.
And now Zach has 2 unblockables, so he's going to start eating into Hank's life total pretty quickly. I think.
Important to note with the manipulator here, he can take. See, he's doing it prematurely, but he could take the Sky Knight Legionnaire and then block the Griffin. You know, so
Right.
using one of his opponent's creatures
Right.
to
I
kill
think
his
he's
own.
thinking he's going to take the Legionnaire and just block the Legionnaire because he's got the Griffin tapped down with the hands of
Oh, okay,
binding.
okay. I thought he just hadn't quite untapped it yet.
But I think it would have been more of a blowout effect if he had waited till combat and just
Yeah.
said, Hank, let me borrow that to block your guy.
Because Hank might just read the play and not attack, and then
Exactly.
he's not forced to commit his counters at all. Which,
Exactly.
until a new guy's entering the battlefield, like he could be taking this Griffin instead.
Exactly. Next
Mm-hmm.
turn he could have just stolen this Griffin. So we'll see. I mean, you never know. Magic's a game of variance.
Oh yeah, and we could just be outright wrong.
Right.
I don't think so. I think it's better to just take a 3/2 than a 2/2.
Right,
But
right. Generally speaking, I'm going to take a 3/2 every time over a 2/2.
gotcha. Yeah, and it's really you know, they all kill each other when they block the other one.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
it's only so important, and maybe it was better to commit fewer counters to that guy because now he's
That's
ticking
true.
that guy up to get back to stealing
That's
another
true.
creature.
He can
so
bring the Simic Manipulator back up and maybe steal the other Halberdier.
it's definitely not all black and white. That's for sure. So, but we're moving to Zach's turn here with his new freshly acquired Sky Knight Legionnaire.
Which just looks so odd on his Dimir board. I have to say, Dimir, though it's been fairly underwhelming in some limited formats so far, if you can get a good pool of Dimir together, you have a lot of unblockable guys, and those cipher cards get encoded and become very relevant.
I played in a smaller card shop back in Buffalo for my pre-releases. I helped them run the events, and I just generally like it's just the place in the area I prefer to play, anyways. And nobody took Demir. Nobody. It was literally not played in our
Wow.
Saturday pre-release. It was played on Sunday when there was actually fewer people that showed up, but
What's tapped?
The blue guy attack and
The Rogue?
yeah.
3? Looks like Hank's taken 5, 6, 7 total, if he takes it all.
He did.
He took it all. There's another Rogue. Like I said, this is what Dimir does best. Make a bunch of unblockables. He's going to steal the other Sky Knight Legionnaire.
yeah, used the encode ability to grow his.
Looks like
his steal a
Zach,
guy.
Zach missed a trigger on hands, or Hank... oh, nope, there it is, right there.
Yep.
And that guy stays tapped down.
Okay. Now, all right. So he used the counters from the guy. All right. So
Yeah,
he
the
took
Cynic
another
Manipulator
Sky Knight
should
Legionnaire.
have no counters on him. Nil trade.
All right. Well, we should actually stop.
I think that's good for the game
Oh,
there.
okay, all right, sorry.
I think Hank saw the writing on the wall, and the writing was you lose.
All right. So Zach gets the game there with the first Dimir deck we've seen on camera. So he's
Yep.
definitely proving the guild to be a viable choice here.